Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of the new book, Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available now in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. Go ahead and pick up your copy. And if you're currently reading Twin Flame Romance and would be so kind to leave a review on Amazon, when you do, take a screenshot of that review and you can email me at michellefondinauthor@gmail.com and I will give you a promotional copy on Audible of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, exploring your 7 energy centers with mindfulness, yoga, and Ayurveda. So welcome so much if you're new to my channel. Thanks so much for watching this video in particular. Please subscribe below, hit the like button, and give the video a thumbs up. And if you would like to schedule a twin flame reading with me or just a general reading, you can go ahead and email me at michellefondinauthor@gmail.com. You can go to my website if you live in the United States to book that. It's www.fondinwellness.com. And I do 30, 60, and 90-minute readings. The details are below, so just go ahead. When you email me, please do choose though. I did post a video on how to book a reading with me. It's just, it really reduces down the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So thank you so much for following that. Just respecting my time the way I respect yours, of course. So today, this is one of those videos, you guys, where it's like, get your cup of coffee, get your favorite beverage from Starbucks or Peet's Coffee or wherever you get your favorite holiday beverage. My favorite is peppermint mocha with whip. Gosh, what is life without whipped cream? I have no idea, but it's not a good life without whipped cream, I'll tell you that. This is gonna be one of those videos, guys. This is gonna be one of those little lengthy, maybe? I'm not sure. Totally spontaneous. But I felt like I needed to reach out to you, my viewers, my subscribers on YouTube. First and foremost, let me just say I'm just so grateful to you guys. I'm so thankful for you guys subscribing to my channel. I'm thankful for you guys viewing my videos. I'm really thankful for the positive comments and the positive feedback. It's been a pretty cool journey thus far, let me tell you. And I've been on YouTube, as some of you know, I've been on YouTube for a really long time. I just never put a lot of effort into it. Here's the problem that I have, you guys. The problem that I have and have had in the past is that I get really excited about a lot of different things. And so I have my hand in a lot of different projects, and that's always been the case. And the problem with having your hand in a lot of different projects is that it's really difficult to focus on 1 or 2 projects when you have your hand in a whole host of projects. And this is no different. So for the past several months, I've actually put most of my efforts outside of my full-time job, of course, most of my efforts into the YouTube channel, and lo and behold, it's created something that is wonderful and beautiful. So the video for today, since I'm always upfront and honest with you guys, the video for today is going to be on the evolution of my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel in particular, the evolution of my YouTube channel for the year 2020 and where it's going. I think I owe that to you guys. And I have been thinking about this for a really long time, past several weeks at least. And for me, that seems like a long time because when you're on this gear, you're on this wheel that kind of keeps turning, and you are filming videos, editing videos, producing videos, posting videos, like it's just, it's this gear that keeps turning. And especially if you're posting 5 to 7 videos a week, which I was doing, and I was doing in excess of 7 videos a week sometimes. There was a point at which last month, I believe in November, that I was posting sometimes 2 videos a day. And let me tell you this, it doesn't really give you time to do a lot of thinking. You have to be working most of the time. For those of you that don't post on YouTube regularly, you don't know the amount of work that actually goes into producing videos, editing videos, posting videos. It takes a lot of time and effort, especially when things go wrong. Like, you saw on Sunday, I was ready to throw in the hat on Sunday because it literally took me 6 to 7 hours to post that one video. Crazy, right? Because of the battery going on my camera. So I made sure that I charged the battery. For some reason, I tried to order a new battery on Canon, and for some reason, their website kept glitching. I was looking at that as a sign that maybe I need to work. I do have another Canon camera. I do need a backup battery for that one. So maybe I just need to switch and use that camera instead. So I figured if the website for Canon kept glitching, it was probably a sign, because I tried to put in my credit card like 4 or 5 times and it kept showing me error messages all over the place. It's just moments like that where you're working on your YouTube video and it takes 6 to 7 hours to post one video because something goes wrong, where it's just, you realize the amount of time and effort it takes to even post one video. Now, that's not always the case, but generally speaking, from start to finish, when all is said and done, for one video that's about 20 to 30 minutes, it's about a 3-hour process. And I know that's hard for you guys to believe. I am not a vlogger, so to speak. So I know a lot of vloggers who do uncut, unedited. A lot of vloggers are just recording on their phone, doing the vlog, posting it, uncut, unedited, all that. I don't do that. There might be a point at which I do that, but probably not. I prefer to have a cleaner copy for you guys to enjoy, so that there's not all these ums and ahs and so's and pauses in the middle of the video. I don't think that makes for a very good video dynamic. So yeah, each video takes about 3 hours from start to finish. And that's a big chunk of your day. If you are posting every single day, or if you're posting twice a day, that's a huge chunk of your day. And besides that, I mean, there are other things going on, obviously. This past month, it was probably around November that I was starting to get burnt out. I was seriously starting to get burnt out. And I was like, I'm not really sure where I am going with this. And that's important. You have to have a vision. You have to understand and know, for anything in life, where you're going. What is your desired outcome? What do you want at the end of this? How do you want to develop and grow? And I think growth is such an important part of what we do in life. But of course, if I consider myself an influencer in other people's lives, and I consider myself to be a mentor in other people's lives, then I have to understand, in my mentorship with you guys, in this mentorship relationship, where am I headed with this? Is it just for the sake of posting videos or informational videos or motivational videos every day? Is that the whole point to this? Or is there something bigger that I believe that I am put on earth here to accomplish when it comes to viewers on YouTube? So I was really faced with that question. Now, for those of you new to the channel, I know a lot of you don't necessarily know my immediate backstory. And then those of you who haven't been watching for very long and maybe have not followed me prior to 2019, you really don't know my backstory. And I think it's interesting because one of the problems, especially with newer YouTubers who are not used to the YouTube culture of popularity, I guess it's that, of popularity, and there being an equal measure of your popularity, there are like trolls and mean people that kind of rise to the top along with your rising popularity. Now, thankfully for me, it hasn't been that much. Like, thankfully, I'd say about 98% of those of you out there are fantastic and really supportive and really great and very positive and really supporting each other. And that's fantastic and wonderful. But there's about 2 to 3%, I would say, that are really trolly and really mean and just out there to make other people's lives miserable. And I understand that they're caught up in ego consciousness. I understand that they're probably hurting themselves and just not in a good place. But honestly, I have zero tolerance. Like, I'm just one of those people, is I have zero tolerance for meanness at all. Like, I have absolute zero tolerance. Raising my kids, I never tolerated it in my household, ever. I don't tolerate it in other people. If I find that I'm getting to know someone and I find that they're mean, I immediately cut off all ties. Like, I have zero tolerance for people that are mean. You've got to realize that in the growing of the YouTube channel and growing in the popularity, which is such a beautiful thing, this is something that honestly I've been waiting for a long time, because for me, being a spiritual teacher, and that gets me to my past that a lot of you don't know about, but for me, being a spiritual teacher, having more reach to spread your message is it's a blessing. It really is a blessing. And I look at it as a blessing from God. I look at it that God is blessing me with a bigger audience to spread his message, not my message, to spread his message, but through me. I really, really do look at it as a blessing. But nonetheless, there are still growing pains. There's still the realization, like I said, of the rising popularity and the itsy-weensy teeny tiny baby celebrity status, right? We're just talking about I'm like a 2-month-old when it comes to celebrity status. Just 2 months old, but learning, right? Learning, it's a learning curve. It's a growing curve. It's learning what it's like to be exposed to all sorts of different people on a bigger scale. That's really what it is. It's being more exposed to more people on a much, much bigger scale. Obviously, you guys know my YouTube channel is not huge, but I've grown the channel, or you guys have helped me grow. I haven't done anything. You guys have helped me grow the channel just in the past 3 months. I stopped working full-time on September 7th, 2019, and started doing YouTube full-time, among other things, obviously, but YouTube full-time around that time. It's now December 11th, 2019, so it's been 3 months. So in that 3 months, I've grown my channel by nearly 3,000 subscribers. I mean, that is pretty darn good. I mean, that's a good amount of growth just in the 3 months that I've been working on this full time. I'm really, really proud of where this has gone, where the growth has gone, where the channel has gone. And another statistic that I wanted to share with you, because some of you out there who are not YouTubers, and if you are a YouTuber, then you probably understand this if you're at the level that I'm at, which is tiny. Like I said, I'm like a 2-month-old, right? It's really tiny, but still in the grand scheme of things, having, at the time you view this, I may have about 9,000 subscribers. When I looked about an hour ago, it was like at 8,975. So that's shy of 25 subscribers, which typically I'm getting about 50 to 70 to 100 subscribers a day, just depending on the day. It may well be about 9,000 subscribers by now. Just to put that into perspective for me personally, is thinking about influencing 9,000 people. Now, 9,000 people a day do not watch my videos. 9,000 people don't even watch each video, but each video does get anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000 views. If you think about the impact and influence that you have on those people, just sitting in a room. So imagine if you are afraid of public speaking, but imagine just standing in front of 1,000 to 3,000 people just for like a 30-minute speech. Imagine what that auditorium or space might look like with that many people. Putting those things into perspective, not to mention that the views overall for all my videos per month is nearing 90,000 views a month. So that means 90,000 individual people, or maybe you're viewing 10 videos, maybe you're personally like 10 views, right? But about 90,000 people are watching my videos per 28 days. It's not even a month, because YouTube Analytics does it by 28 days. So it's not even per month. Every 28 days, roughly 90,000 people are watching any one of my videos, which is crazy to think about. When I think about the numbers, I then think about the responsibility. When I think about the responsibility, I think about, what did I intend to do with this? And where do I need to go with this? And it's really that, what do I tend to do with this and where do I need to go with this? That has been the thing that has been really causing me a lot of anxiety, if you will. Like, for lack of better words, it's been causing me a lot of anxiety. And here's why. The reason is because if I look at the past 3 months, in the past 3 months alone, I've published a book. I've published an audiobook. I've been selling these said books. I've increased my YouTube subscribership by 3,000. And I've just done a whole host of other projects, of which you don't know. I'm actually writing a new book, and this book was actually in the works prior to the Twin Flame book. I've been writing this book. It's on the 8 Yoga Sutras, so it's 8 limbs of yoga for modern living. It's really about living a yogic type of lifestyle to help you transcend suffering. That book, I've actually been writing that book for a good 2 to 3 years, kind of off and on, in between my other books. It's a much deeper research. And I believe for me, that's a much deeper research into going into myself. That's where that goes. And also my sister and I were working on a card deck, and I'm so excited about this Oracle card deck. It is going to be, you guys are going to be blown out of the water. Blown out of the water. That's all I've got to say. It's not a tarot deck. It's an Oracle deck, but it is an Oracle deck that even like the person who has never done a reading for themselves or just has clearly no idea, it's just amazing. It is amazing. We have been, my sister and I have both been testing it for about the past month, and just on, just writing out the cards ourselves. We've been testing it for about the past month, and we are blown away at how incredibly accurate it is, how precise it is. Like, it was like everything we both ever dreamed of in a card deck. It's totally out of this world amazing. I have my hands in a lot of different projects. As well as doing my readings, I do the angel readings, I teach yoga, I do Ayurvedic consultations. So there's a lot going on, you guys. It's not just YouTube. But that being said, I have the strong desire to grow my YouTube channel in ways that you guys can't even imagine. Because I really believe that the beauty of YouTube, and I love YouTube, and I will never say anything bad about YouTube. However they change, I love YouTube. The beauty of YouTube is that it can reach so many hundreds of millions of people every single day with free content from all around the world. I mean, there is no other platform. I mean, you can talk about social media, but there's no other platform that fully face-to-face videos that you could do at length like this with free content that you're giving to people with so much value. And really, that's what it is. It's that value point. Let me give you an example that just impacted my life. And I will put his name down. If any of you guys are into bodybuilding, I will put his name down. He already has like 2.5 million subscribers. I'm sure he doesn't need like a whole host of my little teeny sampling of subscribers, but he's pretty awesome. I know you guys have seen on my channel that I've been doing weight loss vlogs. That kind of got put on the back burner because, not the weight loss piece of it, not at all. I'm still on track and everything, but the piece about the vlogging, because that's when I was hit with all these different projects, and I had to say to myself, you know what, you need to stop and you need to start thinking about what the future holds for this channel. Like, what do you want to do to move forward with this channel? I kind of backed away from that, being that my Twin Flame audience is a much more prominent audience. And I know that you guys that view the Twin Flame videos, some of you, because there's only like 100 views on each of the vlog videos, at least 100 of you, or maybe less, maybe some of those hundreds are coming from another source, but you've been following those as well. So I well appreciate that. I really like vlogging. I think it's a kind of a cool concept. And I do like talking about nutrition and weight loss a lot, because it's been a huge thing in my life. Back to this YouTuber, his YouTube channel and his name are totally slipping my mind. So I found some roadblocks that were happening along my weight loss journey. And so I started doing research on, because what was happening was I was losing weight, but I was also finding that I was losing muscle mass instead. And even though I was exercising, I was finding like as I was losing weight, I was starting to get like flabbier, if you will. So my muscles were a lot less toned than they were. And I was just like, what the heck is happening? I did some research and I realized, okay, like women after 40, they lose fat and lose a lot of muscle mass. And the problem is if you're on a weight loss program and you're losing significant amounts of weight, or you're losing, let's say, 2 pounds a week or something, then you're also losing that not only in fat, but in muscle. And so what you need to do is, well, A, take amino acids, which I didn't even know, and B, work on bodybuilding first, and then go on the natural progression to weight loss. But you have to keep up the bodybuilding aspect, because the more you age, the more you're losing muscle mass at like such a rapid rate. Weight training is a huge part of that. I've kind of reversed my strategy after doing a bunch of research, where I'm still counting the calories on my MyFitnessPal, some of you know, and I'm still reducing the calories. I've gotten a little looser within 100-calorie window, and we'll see how that goes. Increase my protein intake, which is really hard being a vegetarian, and I've had to go to eating like chicken and fish sometimes, and it's really hard for me because I'm not a fan. But just increasing that protein level, and also just literally doing bodybuilding, which for a woman, if you are a woman watching this, which I know 85% of you are women, about that, if you're a woman watching this, it can be really scary to think of like, oh, I've got to bulk up, because that's never, ever, ever been on my like radar whatsoever. But when I noticed that my body was losing muscle like so rapidly, I got really scared. I actually thought like, oh my God, I must have some sort of disease, because I was seeing the muscle like tone just completely disappearing, and I was working out. I was like, this is crazy. And it wasn't like I wasn't doing weights. I was absolutely doing weights. So the methodology that I found was, and this wasn't through YouTube, but the other thing that I'm gonna talk about was through YouTube. The methodology that I found is to do, I think it's called hypertrophy training, and it's actually to bulk up. It's a specific, very specific training program to bulk up. And so what you're doing is you're increasing muscle mass, and then since your muscle mass will be increased, then you're gonna burn fat faster. And I have never liked the idea of bulking up, but that's what I'm doing now. So there you go. In this training, there's very specific exercises. You're only focusing on 2 muscle groups per day. You've got to do 4 days a week, 3 days of rest. You're not doing a lot of cardio, which again is counterintuitive to what I've done my whole life. I love running, I love cardio, I love dance. So this program, during this 8-week training, you do the reverse. You do about 20 minutes of cardio a day, but it's light cardio. It's not the heavy cardio. I was wanting to know how to properly do a bench press without hurting myself, because you're increasing the weights too. What I do, I look it up on YouTube, how to do a proper bench press. And I find this guy, perfect video, right? Perfect. I mean, it was perfect alignment. He had perfect tips about like exactly where to position your arms, where you want to be, using dumbbells instead of a full bar, because yeah, I'm not using the full bar yet. I'm just not, strength-wise, I'm not even there. But he was like explaining why it's more beneficial to do dumbbells in a lot of cases. It's just 9-minute video, right? But it had so much information in it, and it was so incredibly valuable to me. And if you think about just the value, and like, I was like, this is crazy. Like, I get this information for free on YouTube. And that's why I love YouTube. And that's why I will always try to grow my channel. Now, I have other aspirations, and I want to do other things with YouTube too, including starting a new channel that's geared more toward travel. And that has been my literal lifelong dream. Like, I had wanted to be a travel writer for as long as I can remember. I'd wanted to be like someone who traveled to every single country, not every single country, probably not, but to many countries and many continents. And I've been to a lot of different countries, but it's just like something like travel writing and travel vlogging is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, like filming my travels and things like that. So like that's on my aspirations list. But for now, I really need to think about the Twin Flame community, which is my largest following, right? And where I want to go with this, where I want to go to take you guys into the right direction for 2020, like into the right direction where I feel like you out there are getting some growth. Okay? And that's really where I am at. It's about the growth, because I've produced about, I want to say in the upwards of 87 videos on Twin Flames since February 2nd. I I think February 2nd was my first video on twin flames, maybe earlier, maybe February 1st, 2019. I've produced a heck of a lot of videos on twin flames. If you think about it, just think about this, you guys. How many episodes are in a regular TV series or even Netflix series, right? Most Netflix series, I mean, you're going to have between 12 and 16 episodes per season. And just imagine a lot of those episodes per season are like, what, 22 minutes? They're either like 22 minutes or like 48 minutes or something like that, around that. And sometimes when you hit the end of those 14 episodes, guess what? You got to wait a whole other year to get another 14 episodes or 16 episodes or whatever it is. And so I've produced videos between 15, mostly 17, and I guess 45 minutes just on twin flames, about 87 since February. How many seasons is that? That's a lot of episodes. That's really, really a lot. And when you hit the end of 87 episodes on twin flames, it's like, where do you carry it from there? Where do you go from there? What is the best thing to do with that? Where do you move forward from there? I will let you guys know this. I'm not going to stop doing twin flame videos. I will continue to do the weekly readings because I think they're valuable. And I will continue to finish off my series on twin flame meditations for the chakras because I think that is valuable. The only reason I haven't finished, probably doing like one a month of those, and the only reason I haven't totally finished that is because I have to be in a space where I feel really inspired, and in order to do a meditation video, just be in the right headspace, be in the right mind space, and not have anything else on the agenda as far as talking to you guys about for the meditation videos. So that I will finish. We've got the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th chakras for that. So we've got a few, or at least 4. And of course, the different topic videos as they arise, as they come up. And I know on the comments community section, you guys have made some beautiful suggestions on videos to post for twin flames. Some of them are doable and maybe a couple are not so doable just based on the broadness of the topic, because I think Kat had posted, and if it's not Kat, if it's somebody else, sorry. Kat had posted something about doing a video on children of twin flame relationships, or meaning like if the two people have children from different people, I guess, and how to explain that to them. And what I explained was something like that. It's actually too broad because, well, A, I'm not a child psychologist, so I would not feel comfortable giving advice for other people's children as parenting techniques. I am a parent, but every parent has the right to educate their children as they see fit. But also just the entire topic is way too broad. Are you talking about like a parent leaving a marriage and potentially leaving children to go into a twin flame relationship? Are you talking about that? Are you talking about taking the children and now having a new husband or wife? Like, what are the ages of the children? It's going to be vastly different talking to a 4-year-old, which you may not even need to say much, versus a 15-year-old or an 11-year-old. So there's just way too much in that. And I was like, I am not touching that. No way, no how. I had a hard enough time telling my kids about the divorce, and that was a while ago. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do was telling them about getting a divorce. And it was just the most awkward and painful conversation ever. Yeah, I think that there are topics to be addressed out there. And when I say that the evolution of the channel and the material on the channel will change, it's because it's destined to change. It's destined to move in a direction, for me personally, that is more about real hardcore spiritual growth, because that is my shtick, you guys. As I mentioned before, I never ever intended to be a twin flame channel. Like, I never intended that. Now, it happened in a very positive way. Like, it happened in a way that has been a beautiful unfolding of this gorgeous audience. Like, it's been a beautiful experience of just this understanding and support and wonder. And for me, it's just been being able to offer to you guys some perspective from my own experience and the channeling and the angel messages and all of that. Like, it's been such a beautiful pattern of growth. It's been amazing. I'm really, truly, like, I am grateful for this. And I'm grateful for my twin flame for this, because had it not been for him, I wouldn't be with you guys right here where I am today. I wouldn't. And it just not under this capacity at any rate. And I wouldn't have met so many amazing, marvelous people from New Zealand and Australia and China and Germany and the Netherlands and England and Scotland and Ireland and all these beautiful places. I've met so many amazing and wonderful people that I'm not gonna stop doing this. So that takes me to the next phase. Now, if you need to pause the video and go get a glass of water or go get another cup of coffee, please feel free, or you need to go to the bathroom, please just pause the video, go get your cup of coffee, go to the bathroom. I will wait. Okay, so that leads me to what up for 2020 with Michelle Fondin YouTube channel. In thinking about, and this is still a thought process, you guys, this is not set in stone. It is still a thought process. It's still going on. As a part of this thought process, I'm doing a lot of meditation. I'm meditating, you guys. Seriously, I'm a little bit like, woo! I'm drunk on meditation. I've been doing about 2 hours of meditation a day. A lot of meditation. I may up that to 3 hours just for the next few days, just to get more clarity. And that's versus spinning your wheels, right? So the solution, the spiritual solution, is to go into your silence and meditation to get answers. The human solution is to go crazy. I prefer to do the meditation bit. Upon this quiet reflection, especially in meditation, and just researching my book for writing the 8 Limbs of Yoga for Modern Living, and practicing, because that's really important. You practice that stuff as you're doing it. Now, background on that, because I told you there was the immediate history, so about me stopping my job. I'd worked, I can't tell you where, but I worked for a year full-time, and then I stopped September 7th. And then prior to that, I had been a spiritual teacher teaching yoga, meditation, and Ayurveda for 10 years. And prior to that, well, my spiritual journey started about 2000, around there. But that's not even when it started, because that was kind of when it started in earnest, but it had actually really started back when I was 18. There have been progressions of it. When writing my book, the new one I'm writing, and going over the awakening of the yogi and the disciplined lifestyle that the yogi is encouraged to live in order to become enlightened or merged into oneness, it came to me that what is happening with the twin flame awakening, if you will, this mass awakening. We're talking about just like masses of people awakening at the same time or around the same time. So the problem that is happening with the mass awakening of the twin flame collective is that spiritual awakening is supposed to take years and years and years. It's not supposed to take like 5 minutes or 6 months. It's not the way it was designed to be. And the process of the awakening, even for the ascetic, so the ascetic would be the monk in the temple, the yogi in the temple who renounces their daily life, and they are spending hours in meditation. They're spending hours in yoga. They're spending days of fasting. They're begging in the streets for their food. Like the ascetic, the one who lives the yogic life, who really seeks the enlightened path, spends decades of their life doing this stuff and reading the sacred texts, reading the spiritual literature, but then in mind, body, soul, spirit, emotions, like living this life, living this centered life, living a life of severe discipline. We're talking about austerity, discipline. In Sanskrit, it's called tapas, which tapas does mean fire. It doesn't mean like those little plates that you get that are way overpriced at tapas bars. But we're talking about discipline, austerity, and the problem that I'm seeing that I am looking to help solve, if you will, and I believe this is my calling. That's why it's matching, if you will. That's why I'm sharing this with you, is that masses and masses of people awakening to the spiritual path, to the enlightened path, but not necessarily having the experience or skill set to be able to handle it. It's kind of like giving a classroom of, let's say not even a classroom. It's like giving an entire state of 16-year-olds brand new cars, and they haven't been through driver's ed. Now, legally, in the States, those 16-year-olds could drive a car, but they probably shouldn't. At least not right away, right? And so, or it's like winning the lotto. If you take someone who has won $250 million and they've been poor their whole entire lives, what's probably going to happen? What's probably, well, statistically, and I don't know the statistics on this, so don't quote me, I really don't know, but statistically, people who win large sums of money like that, you know, 250 million, they win the whole jackpot. Statistically, I think within 5 years, they're back to where they were. Like they're usually completely and utterly broke. So if they started in poverty, after they win, shortly thereafter, they're back in poverty. And the reason that that happens is because a person who grew up in wealth, like who understands the power of money, who understands the power of investment, who understands the power of saving, like proper investing and diversifying your assets, someone who grows up in wealth understands the power of money. So they understand if $250 million comes into their lives, they're going to know what to do with it. They're going to understand how to be respectful and responsible to that money in order to help it grow and not just blow it on everything they can, and then they're broke 5 years later. What I feel and what I have felt for a while, and this is not a criticism, you guys, it's absolutely not a criticism. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. I look at it as, let's say 150,000 people worldwide, I'm just rough number, 150,000 people worldwide have awakened to this twin flame spectacular journey. And with that, with this awakening has come spiritual awakening and some spiritual gifts. But for the majority of those 150,000, for a majority, they don't know what to do with that. They're like, I can have telepathic thoughts and my twin kind of reads them, or I've got conversations in the 5D. It kind of works. It works sometimes. It doesn't work other times. I have all these weird things like lucid dreaming happening. Like, I'm not really sure what to do with this. It's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like you won the lotto, but you don't know what to do with it. Or you are given a brand spanking new car at age 16 and you don't have a driver's license. And what I feel that these spiritual gifts that you're given as a twin flame are like what yogis call the siddhi powers. It's siddhi, S-I-D-D-H-I powers. And these are powers like teletransportation, levitation, things like that, or being able to project your mind into somebody else's mind and things like that. So you're given a certain sum of siddhi powers, which usually are earned through, like I said, like the monks, like it's usually earned through decades of disciplinary practices and really mastering your mind, body, emotions, mastering your desires, mastering the ego. Like it comes with a lot of work. It's not an overnight process. And so with this, and the thing is, the thing that it leads me to is asking God, like, why? Why would you just hand all of these normal people who are not yogis living in a cave, why would you hand all of these normal people these spiritual awakened gifts without the tools to actually handle them? And then it came to me that, well, God did this, but now it's going to require a certain amount of leaders who have already been experienced on the spiritual path to rise up to lead you guys. And I guess that's what my role is. My role, I believe in this, is to help you pave the way to your own spiritual awakening in an organized fashion so it's not so chaotic. Because the awakened path usually will happen through steps. Let me give you an example. And I think I mentioned this in one other video, that when in 2000, it was maybe 2010. I can't remember. It was 2010. So in 2010, I had been meditating in earnest for 3 years. I had been an Ayurvedic teacher for 2, a yoga teacher for 2, and a meditation teacher for 1. A friend of mine who was a fellow meditation teacher who also trained with me at the Chopra Center. And if you don't know who Deepak Chopra, look him up. A friend of mine who had trained with Deepak Chopra as well had encouraged me to do this program called Seduction of Silence. And I did not feel that I was really ready to do that program at that particular time. I just didn't. I didn't feel ready in my meditation practice. Now, granted, I'd been practicing yoga for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long. I'd been practicing yoga for a long time. I'd done guided meditations. I was always really spiritual as a person. And I had been practicing meditation for 3 years nonstop. We're talking about 3 years every single day. And I was a yoga teacher, teaching yoga pretty much every single day for 2 years at that point. I was an Ayurvedic practitioner, mind-body medicine from India that integrates yoga and meditation, among other things. I had been a practitioner for 2 years. So it wasn't like I was like brand spanking new at this stuff, but I really didn't feel ready. I did not feel ready. This was in October of 2010. I did not feel ready, but I did it anyway. So I went to this silent meditation retreat, and it was within another retreat, which is called Seduction of Spirit, which was like a broader, it was for people that were basically there to learn meditation and or they had come back after learning meditation, but just to bring the practice to another level. So this level was on a whole other level, the seduction of silence. But honestly, I know a lot of silent retreats are like 10 days of silence and more. This was only 3 days of silence. It really wasn't that much of silence. But during one of the courses that we took, we learned how to levitate. And you heard me correctly, levitate. We learned how to levitate, which is a Siddhi power, S-I-D-D-H-I, power. And I know now you're asking me. I know in your head I can read your mind. See, I am a yogi. I know you have this burning desire inside of you to know, did you levitate, Michelle? Yes, I did levitate. I actually levitated, yes. The problem with that was that I was not prepared at that level of awakening. I was not prepared for it. And I knew, like intuitively, I knew I wasn't prepared. But I went anyway, because out of peer pressure. And I did. I went anyway, and I really wasn't prepared for that level of an awakened state. And it messed me up big time. It messed me up big time, which could have been a really cool experience, turned out to be sheer terror for me. I was in terror because I hadn't cleared my past, and I had a lot of baggage surrounding religious upbringing, a lot of baggage surrounding religious upbringing. What came to me was not, oh, cool, I'm levitating. It was like demon possession. That's what came to me. Each level of spiritual awakening comes with its own graduation, mini graduation. So you go from one spiritual level to the next and to the next and to the next, and you have these little mini graduations. Yay, now I'm ready to go to the next level. But if you go from 0 to 100, either via drugs, which people do, or sensory deprivation experiences, something like a near-death experience, which I do not recommend. I think that's dumb for anyone who's tried it, or maybe you've been in an accident and that you nearly died and so you had some sort of spiritual awakening. But I would not say voluntarily experience that. For those of you on this twin flame path who have had a lot of spiritual awakening in a very, very short amount of time, it can be terrifying. It can literally be terrifying. And not only terrifying, but it can be chaotic. It can be really chaotic because you really don't know which way is up. What I believe my purpose is to help you guys on this twin flame journey is to really help iron out all the wrinkles in this and to just help you along your spiritual awakened path and just be like, this is normal, this is not normal. Like, this is where you need to start. Start with baby steps. And now this leads me to two things. If you need to go refill your coffee again or your drink, go ahead, go refill, go to the bathroom. I know this is getting long. This leads me to two things. And the first thing is, I understand that with going in a new direction with this, in a more serious direction on serious spiritual stuff, I understand that some of you aren't going to want it. I understand. I get it. I get that some of you just want, which I said the readings will still be there. Because, and I know this, how do I know this? Because I do the chakra videos, the meditation videos, and I see the number of views they get in comparison to the numbers that, for example, the readings get or the other videos get. I see my videos on spirituality and spiritual awakening and how many views they get compared to some of the other twin flame videos I produce. So I understand that it's a smaller percentage of you that are ready to actually do the work and you're ready to take your lives to the next level, because becoming a yogi, a true yogi, is not an easy path. It is a hard path. It is not, like, there's a lot of sacrifices that have to be had in order to live a sacred path. You can't just live your lives marginally moralistic. It's not the way it works. Like downloading movies on torrent websites, not an option when you're a yogi. Just not an option. It's not even your moral parameter. It's just downright 100% wrong. So do you understand? Like, things like that seem normal to the everyday person, it's just, for a yogi, that's just not, it's not acceptable. It's not even normal. Seeing porn, for example, not normal for a yogi. Brahmacharya, sexual restraint, right? So just living an ascetic life, living the life of a yogi is not an easy feat, but it's rewarding. A little bit about that, just a little preview there, a little sneak peek into the spiritual path. But I'll still be my funny self and my fun self because that's who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. I've never changed who I was. For my entire time of being on this spiritual path, like, I'm still me. I'm still the same person. Now I've matured. Of course I've matured. I've grown. But I'm still the same goofy personality that I've always been. Just a total ham it up. Making fun of myself, just totally funny. You know, in my own right. Always been like that. I grew up as an actor. I know you guys know that. Some of you know that. I grew up in the theater. My earliest memories, honestly, you guys, my earliest memories that I can remember are in the theater with my dad. My earliest childhood memories are in the theater, running around in the seats of the theater when my dad was in rehearsal. My dad was an actor. I grew up in the theater. Total ham, okay? Total nut. Total goofball. Isn't that funny? I just thought of that. Yeah, not my earliest childhood memory. I had other traumatic memories that I don't want to talk about, but my earliest memories of being 3, 4, and 5 years old were in the theater. In the theater. That's where I spent most of my time, in a theater. The other thing, in order to support you guys, and I'm developing this program now, and this is where this is going to be like the crux of my work. There are two avenues that I really need to go into besides YouTube. My writing, of course. I'll always be writing books. And the one is I'm doing extreme. I'm doing like holistic coaching programs that are going to include many different things of the discipline, including my meditation course. And I know, like, and that's another thing, is I know that even talk about that got like this many views, and people wanting to make a monetary commitment or a time commitment to something like a secure meditation practice is kind of like, they want to dip their toes in it, but they're not too terribly committed to it. And another part about an enlightened spiritual path is like, you need to commit yourself to meditation. If anything, you need to commit yourself to meditation. I don't care what else you're doing. Commit yourself to meditation every single day. And we're not talking about the guided meditations. We're talking about the silent inside. I can meditate in a busy mall for 30 minutes by myself with my eyes closed and not worry about what other people are thinking about me. It's that kind of hardcore meditation. So that's going to be an integral part of my coaching programs, but also personal development. Just, where am I going with my life? What is my life path and purpose? What am I doing? Where am I going? What do I need to be doing with my life? How do I balance mind, body, soul, spirit, relationships, emotions, occupation, family, everything? How do I balance that? So that's going to really be an integral part of my life in 2020, is that it's not called extreme coaching. I'm just telling you, extreme coaching. For select few, for those of you that are really serious about it, because obviously there are only so many hours in a week, but the pricing too, it's gonna be a little more pricey. And then live events. Live events is something that I've been wanting to do, and I have done them in smaller capacities since about 2008. So from 2008 to 2017, live events were a huge part of what I did in DC. On a smaller scale though, that is another thing that I really want to launch for 2020, are these live events, and just bringing people into a space, a hotel space, whatever space, in order to teach you guys these spiritual principles step by step, and not taking you from 0 to 100 in 5 minutes. Because like I said, with that comes a lot of fears. It comes a lot of ego. And then the problem with that, you guys, is that you have a bunch of people, not you. I know this is not you. I'm not talking about you. But in general, you'll get a lot of people with big spiritual ego, because they have the ego, they have this really rapid spiritual awakening, but they haven't really tamed the ego. So then what do you have? You have big egoed people with an open sense of spirituality, which is totally chaotic, because it's not really spirituality. And here's the marker, you guys. I'm not bashing people, I promise you, but here's the marker. The marker of the big spiritual ego is a comment that did happen on my channel, to the sort of, I don't know, word for word, not verbatim, but a word like, stop telling everyone that twin flames are not soulmates. Okay, that's spiritual ego, you guys. Okay, so just things like that. That's spiritual ego. That's not spiritual. That's spiritual ego. Do you know what a true spiritual guru would say? A true spiritual guru would say, what is this? The twin flame is a twin flame. That is the soul. The soul is boundless, spaceless, timeless. What is a name? What isn't a name? There is no name. The name is just what the man wants to give it. But the essence of what it is, spaceless, timeless, boundless, and that is spirit. Okay, I did that with a little bit of a fake Indian accent. I'm really bad at accents, you guys. I was good in the theater, not so good at accents. But you get my gist, right? This true spiritual master knows what it's about. The true spiritual master is not out correcting everybody. You're doing this right, you're doing this wrong. You know, that's not the true spiritual master. That's where this is headed. And again, I don't know how this is going to take form on YouTube. I've been forming my coaching program. I've been really looking into how I'm going to conduct and start planning these live events, because I believe personally, I know you guys see me on YouTube, but I believe personally that I have had, in me as a spectator in other events, I believe that live events have the greatest impact of anything. Because when you are in a room with other like-minded individuals on a spiritual journey, being led by a teacher who can teach you how to tune in to these vibrational frequencies within you that resonate at the highest level of spirituality. There's nothing like being in the presence of that. Absolutely nothing. And so that's really where I believe that this needs to go. And if that means a support via YouTube with 2 to 3 videos per week and the rest of it being on the outside, so be it. But yeah, so that's where this is headed, guys. So I just thought I'd be upfront and honest with you. And feel free to give me words of encouragement. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, I honestly don't have any, I mean, I joke about it. I really don't have any issue with people telling me that I'm wrong. I used to, believe me, I used to. That used to be a huge thing for me when I was younger. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't make it as an actor, is because, wow, rejection and criticism, whew, that really affected me as a young adult. That was hard. That was really hard for me. I couldn't take that. But now, you know, whatever, with maturity. But I don't, and I know a lot of YouTubers will say this, I don't like seeing the negativity on the channel because it will drag everyone down. And there's absolutely no need to drag everyone down with other people's spiritual ego, right? Or just plain ego. Because when people find the need to criticize or be mean-spirited, it's not necessary, right? It's like if you were to go into somebody's house and just poop on their counter, like, you don't do that. You don't do stuff like that. And just having trolly people doing that on a channel is just, that's exactly the same thing. There's absolutely no difference. It's just virtual versus, you know, in reality, but it's the same thing. I always just delete everything that's negative because I don't need that to be within the realm of the vibrational frequency of the channel. It's just not necessary, right? So thank you so much for following me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following my endless stream of thought. If you don't see a lot of videos in the month of December, that's the reason. It's because I'm formulating all of this while doing a lot of meditation, putting a lot of deep reflection into this. So it's not just YouTube videos going up willy-nilly, just completely chaotic, no matter what, just any video, anytime, and not putting a whole lot of thought into it. So that's why. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for sharing this video with other twin flames or spiritual seekers. And thank you so much for pledging your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/MichelleFondin. And I will see you in the next video.